Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. And thank you for coming on with us today. And as we go through the doctor is in live, and we sure enjoy having you guys on. So let's say hello to a few friends that come on. Kevin, you're surprising me. You're number one today. Jen, Carrie, how are you? Nebraska, Rosalinda, Holly, Kansas, gloomy Kansas, Rosa in Montreal, Nick from Arsta, Diane, Thunder Bay, and Carol, Wheatley, Chantal, Ottawa, Barbara, Kansas, where Kansas is well represented, Wendy from Markham, how are you? Etta, Denise, Oakville, Helena, Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia, Janice from Brampton, Edith, and Bonnie. Nice to have you on. Julie, Bowmanville, and Yvonne from Petawawa, Wanda, Virginia. Margaret, how are you? And Jeanette, nice to have you on. Yala, bonjour. Wendy, London. Rita, Essex, Ontario. Frida, and another Rita, and Joe from London. Anne, nice to have you on. Zian, we appreciate you guys. Cheryl and Brian, a couple more. Poland Spring, Maine. Donna, Bell Valley. Brenda and Dale, good afternoon. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Okay, what I'm going to do this afternoon, we're going to go through a hodgepodge of studies. Why not? I want to bring you up to date on several studies that came out this week. And I figured, why not do study day? We're going to look at some of the studies. I always find them fascinating. I flagged these ones here. 3 studies in the last week that came out on dementia. 3 of them, okay? New study, okay, on dementia. And the study showed, and this was a study with using fruits and vegetables, fish, and meat. And they separated these foods, and they said, okay, so fruits and vegetables, people were eating those. People were eating fish, and then another group was eating red meat. And here's the only those who were eating red meat had an effect on lowering levels of dementia. Okay, and again, this was an association study. It's not the gold standard, but when they compare fruits and vegetables, fish, and I love fish. I have fish every day in a capsule. Fish and then red meat. Only red meat showed a decrease in the group in dementia. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger. This is what the study said. Here's a second study. Refined carbs is associated with an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's. Hello? Yes. Crappy carbohydrates. And they're showing a direct link between refined carbs is associated with an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's. Hello? Why do I say that? Why have I been saying that for years? Because when you look at Alzheimer's, it is type 3 diabetes. It really is. It's your brain becomes diabetic way before. Look, if you're a diabetic, you're already in trouble. But even if you're not a diabetic, your brain becomes a diabetic way before your blood sugars. Your brain hates sugar. Can I tell you that? I know it's headquarters, but if you insist on giving it bad fuel, your brain will not continue to operate. It won't operate properly. Refined carbs is associated with increased dementia and Alzheimer's. Here's the third one connected to the last one. Avoid study. Headline: avoid high fructose corn syrup because it increases your risk of dementia. Again, there's sugar, and then there's the antichrist of sugar. High fructose corn syrup. There is absolutely nothing good about high fructose corn syrup. It was made in the lab. It's very inexpensive. It's highly addictive. It takes a direct root in your brain. It creates pathways in the brain. It takes a direct root in your liver that causes fatty liver. One of the biggest causes of fatty liver is the introduction of high fructose corn syrup into a person's diet. And what they're saying here is not only does it affect your liver, but it will have a very major effect on your brain. High fructose corn syrup. Avoid it. Now remember, the food industry, they get away with it. They couch. They don't have to tell you they're using high fructose corn syrup. And there's about 92 different names that they can use. But believe you, my friend, they are using high fructose corn syrup because it's cheap. It's addictive. Remember who took over the food industry? The tobacco industry. They knew how to hook people big time. Those are 3 on dementia. Okay, here's a 4th study. And we're going to look at 1, 2, 3 studies that came out in the last week on depression. Okay? This one here, exercise, vitamin E, is as effective as drugs, especially SSRIs, in treating anxiety and depression. Vitamin E is as effective in treating depression as medication. Now, I'm telling you, okay, I'm just going to say it, this is not going to get a lot of traction. And the reason it's not going to get a lot of traction, there's no money to be made in vitamin E exercise. There's no big money behind it. It's so good for you. Everyone really knows that. Maybe they don't know how good it is, even in depression. Now, let me just say one thing about depression. And I've tried in my years of practice to get people who had a tendency to be bipolar, anxiety, depression, to form good habits. Exercise, form good habits. Why? Because when your brain starts playing tricks on you, you are going to have it as part of your DNA. Because once someone is depressed, just try and get them to exercise. It's almost impossible, even though they'll take their medication. But the studies are showing that exercise would be every bit as effective, and probably more. The problem with that is once you're unwell, it's hard to get people to exercise. This is why I always used to talk about make a habit. I get up every morning. I do not allow myself, even though I want to, I'd rather do, but I don't allow myself. I have 16 ounces, half a liter for my Canadian friends, of water every day, 7 days a week, no exceptions. If I'm traveling, I'm in an hotel or whatever, I make sure I have water in the morning because I can't do anything unless I drink my water. I told you this story many a times. My father started exercising, specifically jogging, in 1968. Nobody jogged, but my dad did. And he got me going because I wanted to be with him. And so I would work out with my dad. I formed habits, even as a young man. And today, 71 years old, I still work out. And that's the key, is to get forming good, healthy habits. I love the gym. There's some days I don't feel like going, admittedly, but even when I don't feel like it, I go. And you know what the sweet spot is for vitamin E? Because I've told you this. 3 to 4 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes. Okay? Walking is exercise, but that's separate. Okay? Walking is bonus. But you want to do some kind of, especially, and we've proven this, and I'm going to show you, hold on, let me see if I have a study I want to show. I'll bring this in after. 15 to 20 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. Get strong. I can't tell you that enough. Okay? So exercise, this is one. Exercise is as effective as drugs in treating anxiety and depression. Here's another one. Red meat decreases the risk of depression. Eating red meat, okay, we already found out what it does for Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's hates steak. Depression hates steak, according to this study. And there's a 50% decrease in the risk of depression in people who eat red meat. Can I tell you why? The number one thing in red meat that you don't find in any other food? You guys know this question. Why would that work in depression? I want to see it. You guys are smart. What's the answer? What vitamin is in red meat? It's not in the other meats. It's not in chicken. Okay? What vitamin is it? Wendy, you're right. B12. Rick, you're right. It's B12. Donna, the smartest audience in the world. Emil, I like the way you're thinking. You said CoQ10. It's not far off, but it's B12. Catherine, Myrna, my audience. Louise, vitamin K2. Well, pretty close. Barbara said B. Yeah, well, it's a B, all right. It's B12. Emil, Derek, and Rosemary. Oh, my audience, I'm telling you. I put you guys up against anyone else. And you guys got it. Cheryl, you got it. Emily, Gary, you guys are, I tell you. Anybody is, Brian, Louise, you guys have got it. Okay. Okay, and here's another one. And it's on third study on depression, and I'm going to come back to B12. okay? 1 in 5 in the USA, 1 in 5 will go through major depression. 1 in 5. Incredible when you think of the numbers of that. This study said the key in why there's so much depression, according to this study, is inflammation. Now, you and I know that inflammation is not Houdini. So where I agree with the study that inflammation is a big factor, but you don't just get inflammation for no reason. You get inflammation for 3 reasons. 1, high circulating insulin. That's food. That's crappy carbohydrates. That's sugars, okay? That's seed oils. Got that? 1. 2, leaky gut. Leaky gut, leaky brain. When you have leaky gut and you have toxins that enter the bloodstream, your body starts an inflammatory response. Remember, inflammation is not Houdini. Inflammation comes because of insulin or leaky gut. And the third one is oxidation, free radical damage. And that often occurs when you're eating too much sugar. So it goes back to food, and chemicals can have it. We'll talk about chemicals in a minute, if we can get to these. Okay, let me give you another study. I tell you, they were coming out of the woodwork this week. Vitamin B12 is a very effective vitamin against high blood pressure. Now, you guys, okay? Vitamin B12, okay, new study, is very effective against high blood pressure, okay? Now, I want you to be thinking, I was talking to someone today about B12, and they had neuropathy, and their eyes were, they were diabetic, and they weren't listening to me. And when someone doesn't listen, next. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. They weren't listening. But I was trying to tell them about diabetic neuropathy and B12, how effective it is, because B12 is a nerve vitamin. Now, the question to my unbelievable audience, the smartest in the world, why would B12 be so effective in lowering high blood pressure? I'm waiting. If you guys get this, I'm telling you. Okay? Let me wait just a minute. I want you to think, why is B12 so effective in lowering high blood pressure? Okay? Because this is what the study is saying. They didn't even say why, but I'm going to tell you why. Vince, okay, hold on. Julie, okay. Grace. Annette. Gary. They don't even know this in medical school. Brahim. Emily. You're there, but keeps the arteries free flowing. Rosalinda, you're right. What do we call that? Brenda. Kathy. You guys are too much. You're too smart. It decreases stress, Barbara. You're right. Nitric oxide. Chantal and Anne and Wanda and you guys. You know what? You stop, Rosemary. You stop surprising me. Chantal, you're right. It relaxes blood vessels. It's called nitric oxide. Julie, nitric oxide goes like this. Whoop! It opens up your blood vessels. You know what, Milika? You guys, you're not even surprising me anymore. Like you're too wonderful. You're too smart. Because that's not an easy. I said, I'm wondering how many people, Darlene, will be able to get this. Okay? Nitric oxide. Nitroglycerin. Remember? Remember the little teaching that I did on nitric oxide? How it opens up your blood vessels. An explosion. That's why nitroglycerin works for people with angina, guys. Huh. I mean it. I mean it. I tell you. You guys are unreal. Okay? When I was in school, okay, let me tell you something. Okay? I haven't stopped going to school, but when I was in school, we didn't even know that nitric oxide existed. We knew about nitroglycerin for angina, but we didn't know why it worked. It's because it elevates nitric oxide. B12 elevates nitric oxide. That's why B12 is such an important vitamin. Why do I ask you guys all the time, or tell you guys, to eat steak? Sun, steak, and steel. I didn't even get to all the studies today, but you guys, I'm telling you, it blows me away, guys. It literally blows me away how smart my audience is. Okay. Guys, we love you. Tomorrow's question and answer Friday, so don't be shy. Don't be shy. Send in your questions. Okay? I should have my audience answer all the questions from now on. Okay. I mean it. I go like this because you guys are unreal. Okay? We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.